Welcome back to J&J Dynasty. Coming to you from the dungeon, but it is not so dungeony. All right. So we're going to be talking about July 2023 rookie ADP for this video. There's going to be five drafts now. Get my whole hand in there. Five drafts from July for rookie ADP, but this is going to be from the MFL archives, all the standard one quarterback MFL leagues that I could find. And this is going to be the average ADP for MFL leagues. So that's why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it, right? So let's get going on the video here. I'm going to talk about hopefully Bryce Young and Sam Laporta as far as some risers or fallers coming up here. This last draft was very, very rookie heavy. All right. So we have to take that into consider. A rookie running back heavy. And for some reason, and I think it was this draft, there's another draft that's just going to conclude. I've been waiting for a week to do these two drafts. I thought I could get them both into one video. I can't. This one's done. The other one's only in the fifth round. They both started last Sunday. It is now Saturday morning. Hopefully, I'll have this video up for you this afternoon and go from there. All right, let's get into some ADP with rookies with your first round here. Oh, and as always, if you like the comment or if you like the content, please subscribe. On my way to double digits, trying to get to double digits so then I can be somebody. All right. And then also give a thumbs up and add some comments. Let me know if you've got some guys in some really good spots. That'd be very helpful for me to know if I'm actually helping people with this stuff because I'm doing it for myself basically. But hopefully, other people are getting some valuable knowledge out of it. All right. That's why I share it. So let's get into the first round. As we're looking at it, pretty much the first four are chalk. The last draft, as you can see here, well, I suppose I have to explain everything again. The far left column there, that's just 1 through 12. That's your first round. You got the player's name, obviously. The red column next behind the name is what they were drafted in May. All the green columns then are all of the drafts in June. The black columns are July, going right to left. Then the blue column, ooh, that is the ADP. Good thing I stopped to explain this, right? No, not that one, this one. So that is the average draft position overall. So that's everything to the left-hand side there of the ADP. So then I have May, June, and July, and that's what they are as the breakdown for those colors for that month. So as you can see, Jahmyr Gibbs was 1.9 in June. He was 3 in May. That was his average draft spot. And then July, he's averaging second. So you can see in all the black numbers, straight across there, there's 5 twos. So he's averaging exactly 2. All right. So one thing that I did want to point out on this the last draft there, so the column closest to the blue is the newest data points that we put in there. And there was some big time movement, right? Richardson and Kincaid, as you can see, fell there. Kincaid fell out of the first round. There was a lot of veterans in this league, so they wound up falling quite a bit in this league, and there wasn't the best veterans to begin with. But being that said, Quentin Johnson jumped over Addison for the first time in a long time again. Well, it's not happened here twice in July, but you can see as you go down, the guys are pretty much staying pat. There was a couple big jump ups in a couple different leagues here. But looking at that, Bryce Young is all the way down at 16. That's a pretty good value for a guy who's going off the board as number 12 overall as far as rookies. Average pick of 13. And that's kind of how I kind of bounce back and forth and look at these guys. So like Kincaid, let's just take him for an example. Now if you look, he's averaging 8.9 overall, and he's the eighth rookie off the board overall. So, I mean, Charbonnet's kind of separating from that group with Richardson, Kincaid, and Flowers, which were all those guys were averaging average draft spots about 8. And now, Charbonnet's jumped up to 7.2. Those guys are still. Why is that's not right? How does that get in there? Kincaid's 8.2, not 8.0. Oh, I'm sorry. Confusing myself. That's July average. That is not the overall draft average. Okay, so I was looking at the July averages, so you can get a little confused, or at least I can confuse myself. Charbonnet is 8.3, 8.7, 8.9. Okay, so that makes more sense. That was the big cluster that I was talking about. But you can see more on the short term with July, and that's kind of why I break these numbers down like this, all right? So you can see how they're actually flowing. As you can see, Bryce Young, in May was 14. That was only a sample size of one, but June was down at 12, so he was getting picked at 12 or 2-1, right? 12 or 13 basically on average. Now he's sliding down to 16. So that's why I put the numbers on there for you, so you can actually see what's happening, make a determination as far as where these guys are going with their drafts. And as you can see, some guys are all over the place. Some guys are pretty much chalk in a spot. All right. So let's get on to the second round. Hopefully, you've had enough time to look at these numbers and you can go from there. You can always pause the video and take a look at these numbers. All right. So let's do that. So Laporta, as you can see, he was one of the guys why he's on the thumbnail. He's been sliding drastically here lately. If you look at the very top line there, Laporta, you get the last two in green, well, last three, 15, 20, and 18. You have an 11 and a 14, then 18, 16, and 22. So he is sliding badly. July average draft pick is 16. And overall, I mean, he's down to 15. He was sitting there at 11 for a long, long time um, for many of these drafts. So as you can see, that's where that happens to be. So that's why I want to see where these guys are fluctuating. As you can see, Mingo with the draft sample size of one, um, in May he was 22, but overall he's 15.5 on the blue ADP. But June and July with several drafts, he's sitting right at 15. So that's what you need to know about that. So Mingo's 2-3 right now if you're doing a draft. That's why I like looking at this stuff. One of the other things I like to look at is if you go all the way down here, and you hit Reshi Rice or so, uh, Reshi Rice and Chase Brown, 21 and pick 22. Right at that spot is where I think that the break is. Because right from there, pick 21, Reshi Rice is averaging 21.1 for his average draft position, right? Chase Brown is averaging 23 with 22. So that's the first time the ADP is actually negative if you're not counting fractions, right? So that to me, that's the breakaway. And as you can see in the next slide, we'll take a look at that, how much it differs. So you're at 2022 and you're at 1.1 difference for ADP, right? With Chase Brown because he's at 23.1. So let's like look at the next one. Okay, well, I should finish this going. Laporta and Mango, and then Roshan. Tajay Spears at 2-4. 2-5 is CJ Stroud. Um, so then Michael Mayer at 19. And right there, if you can actually see that, Stroud is going at 18, and he's the 17th rookie. He's rookie number 17 overall off the board. Mayer is at 19.9, and he's there. So Tank is the one guy who flips the. Oh, no, he's upside down there too. Marvin Mims gets it back. Rishi Rice gets it back. So 21. So yeah, we're starting to slide backwards there. But at any rate, then you got Chase Brown and Jaden Reed and Josh Downs. So as I was saying, so let's take a look here. So at Rishi Rice is 21.1 and 1. So by the time we get down to 36, let's see what the separation is in 12 picks. We're talking 1.1 draft slots, all right? So if we look at Keishawn Butte at 36, he's at 58. So in 12 draft choices, well, Luke Musgrave's maybe even better. Luke Musgrave is 25, and his average draft position is 30.2, or Israel 30.2 at 26. That's only 4.2 spots difference. Get down to 36, it's 58.3 from 36. That's 12.3. So there's a huge separation on these guys because they're being picked all over the board. So, I mean, it shows you that about the top 20 to 22 players are pretty much, that's about where the breaking line is for the rookies as far as a major tier, I would say. if you're looking at these rookie drafts. But so look at this video, this panel right here, I should say. Luke Musgrave, Israel, Hyatt, Tillman, Zach Evans, McBride. As you can see, McBride in the last draft was not drafted. He got himself an 85. All right, so that's going to be pushing him down drastically in all these boards. So the May and June average with that 85 there, boom. He also had a 61, so for some reason he's sliding now. Tank Dell, Schoonamaker, Sean Tucker, holding strong at about 50. Michael Wilson, a guy who I am gaining favor with just because of his athletic profile. I know he was injured. I've seen his tapes. I liked him, but I didn't like his spot. But being that he's going to be drafted this far down, if I can get him in the fourth round or mid to early or even late fourth round, I've got two drafts coming up here shortly. So he's going to be a guy that I'm going to wind up targeting. I was targeting Kayshon Boutte, but with all the additions and things like that, I might try to pick him up a little bit later. But so we have Sean Tucker, Michael Wilson, Eric Gray, and Kayshon Boutte to round out your third round. Is that 25 through 36? Yeah, that's your third round. So, all right. Well, yeah, again, hopefully I gave you enough time to look at this. You can grab guys that you want to see and go from there. All right. So let's go. Let's take this one going on. So Puka Nuka, he actually got drafted at pick 90 in the last draft, so he got the valuable 84th spot. So we have Puka, Will Levis, Evan Hall, Deuce Hall, Hendon Hooker, Tucker Kraft, Deneric Prince, Rodriguez, Washington, Xavier Hutchinson, Straven, Tyler Strong. There's one other guy that's been drafted. He's on the next panel. So we have that. But this is what you want to really be looking at as far as where are these guys going? Are these guys values? Do I even want any of these guys off of these kind of boards? So, this is where I also like to really look at the May, June, July numbers, because see if guys are getting picked more often here in June than they were in July than they were in June. So that way you can, take a look at that and you can say, well, maybe I have to jump up a few spots because they're getting drafted earlier and their ADP is moving up. So I have to, instead of getting a guy, let me see if there is an example. Well, Hendon Hooker is going the opposite way. He was 65 in June, and in July he's 85. So if you really like Hendon Hooker, if you've got a fourth round pick and you don't know what to do with it, trade it for the last pick in the draft and pick Hendon Hooker with it, because he's probably going to be there from what what it's telling us here with the data. So the last 6 of the last seven he's hardly been drafted. We'll say that. So that's what it tells you, and that's what I look for in these drafts. So there we go. So then, as you can see there, Clay Toon, Kenny McIntosh, A.T. Perry, those are the only guys that have gotten drafted. So the rest of the guys, who really cares? I mean, they're waiver wire guys because they aren't getting drafted. If you like them, you don't even need to draft them. That's another thing that this is nice with this is you don't need to draft somebody if you don't get it. If there's somebody you like who's not being drafted, you don't have to draft them. You can make a trade right after the draft, and then you can pick somebody up as a waiver wire free agent for $1. So once again, these are MFL results. If these results help you at all, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. On my way to 11, right, players. So this is on my way to 10 subscribers, double-digit subscribers, not 11 players. Kind of losing my mind here. So please like the video, subscribe, add a comment. I would love to know if this has helped you. I would love to know if this information has made you do a trade and it wound up helping you with the trade moving up or back in a draft and to get your player. So give me that kind of heads up. I would love that kind of feedback so that way I can, feel good about that I'm hopefully helping people and I'm not just out here talking to the wind. All right, until next time, take care. Have a great day from J&J Dynasty.